All right, well, we'll see how this goes. I have Eclipse open here, and here we are in lesson 8, and we're going to talk about graphical user interfaces. I'm going to come back to this slide. I'll start here. We're going to do something with Window Builder. So, just a little bit of history. Graphics in Java are not my most comfortable suit. If I want to do a software-based program with graphics, I'm usually using Visual Basic. It's just been the most user-friendly for me. But as the years have went on, since I really started getting into any graphical-based programs, which was probably about 2007, 2008, as the years have gone on since then, Eclipse has gotten more advanced. And with the advancements of Eclipse, now we're able to get that graphical user interface without just typing in the hard code. You used to have to do all of it just by typing in the code. And you'll see it's a lot of code that can populate really quickly. So I've kind of always avoided Eclipse and Java for doing my graphics. I'm using Visual Studio to do that, making software. If I want to make video games, I'm using a game design engine like GameMaker, which is the other class that I have out right now that I'm teaching. And if I want to deal with anything else with websites, I'm doing HTML. So I'm just not doing a lot ever with GUIs, but we'll show you a few things. At least I'll be able to show you how to get it set up so that you can go from there and do what you want with it. So we're going to use Window Builder for this. And what's a GUI? It's a graphical user interface that allows the programmer or the user of the software to interact not just with text like what we've been doing this entire course, but with graphical icons. And that's naturally what you're doing with your software. So for example, we go to the calculator. This is a GUI. And this is all programming here. You click on these buttons. Obviously when I click the 4, there's an event that takes place that recognizes that the 4 shows up. Okay, if I click on multiplication, 4 times 2, then there's some sort of a program behind what we see in front of us. People that aren't programmers don't think about that. They just use the calculator, and they hope it works the way it's supposed to. As a programmer, you're going to be concerned with, or at least want to know a little bit about what's going on the back end. We're going to work with JPanel, maybe not JPanel, maybe we're going to work with a JFrame. I think we're going to work with a JFrame. What I like about these GUIs is you can go back and forth between the design and the code. So you can work on something, you can drag it in from the design, you can see how it populates in the code. Best advice for you will be to search for some YouTube tutorials on using Window Builder. And we're going to see how this goes. It depends on your version of Eclipse. So this link may or may not work for you when we do this upgrade on our Eclipse. And you might not need it. You might have a really advanced version that already has it, but I think just about everything's going to need it. So if it doesn't work, if this link doesn't work, you might have to just go out on the internet and search install Window Builder in Eclipse, and there's some forums on here. There's information right here on this first link, and they give you the links that you need depending on what version of Eclipse that you might have. So I feel like my version's a little bit older, but then again, I've heard that this link that I'm about to show you works better on the older versions. So we'll see. So anyways, we'll give it a shot. We have nothing to lose, right? So I'm going to copy this link. We'll have to find a link that works for you. I hope it's this one. We're going to go out into Eclipse, and let me raise this up a little bit. We need to see the help menu here. So we're going to go to help and install new software. So there's a work with option here, and we're just going to paste that link into this text box. If these don't pop up, click on the add button, and it might add those in for you, but I want to select all of those. I'm going to hit next. And there's an error log here because I already installed it. So you're not going to see all this. You're going to go to finish, and you're going to be able to do the install. But it says that it's ignoring these calls because it's already installed, because I already did it. You might have a warning or a question or two that pop up here as you're going through the wizard to install, and so you can just click OK on all of those, or yes, or whatever is going to keep the install moving forward. And the worst case scenario is it screws up your version of Eclipse and you have to go out and re-download, but that shouldn't happen. So now you have this Swing component installed, and that should allow us to use Window Builder. So let's make a new Java project, and I'm just going to call it Window Builder Tester. And that's going to populate right here. And we want to go into the source code, and I'm going to click on this little drop down here. So this Create New Visual Classes icon showed up. It's really an icon that doesn't look like much of anything. Very similar look to all of these. So you're going to need your screen tip. Hold it over there, and this little drop down arrow. I don't even know what a lot of these are. But we can go to Swing, and we're going to click JFrame. We're going to give it a name. Whatever you want, I'm going to call it Window Builder Tester. And hit Finish. So there we go. It pops up with our code. I've got some errors in my code. And you can see there my import statements that are built in to this JFrame. It's not recognizing this JavaX Swing. So what I need to do just for this Window Builder Tester project, I don't have to worry about my Java. It's okay. It's just this new project that I made. I'm going to have to right click on it and go to Properties. And in Properties, what I want to do is remove this library that's installed here. So I'm in this Java build path, library section. I'm going to remove the library, and I'm going to add a library, and I want to add this first item, the JRE system library, and use default and hit Finish. And so we're just going to replace our library with a different version. And so that version allows this JavaX import to exist and work. Okay, so if all of this goes well, at this point you have a program that when you run it, let's see here, it should run. It might be lagging a little bit. Let me pause it while I see why that's lagging. Alright, so what I need to do is hit the drop down arrow by Run, go to Run As, and I'm going to click on Application here. I have a window that pops up. There's my window. Hence the name Window Builder. Kind of similar to what we see with the calculator. So this is the window that we can work in. So now in Window Builder, we are in the source code, but if I click on Design, alright, and again, shouldn't have got this error, but what I did was I paused the video and I just highlighted this and searched on the internet, copied and pasted it to the internet to see what the issue is. So what I'm going to do is try, based on the forums, I'm going to go to Properties, and I'm going to edit this library 1.8. I want to try to change it to 1.7. So I'm going to go to Execution Environments. Let me try this 1.7 option here and see if it behaves any better. And it did. Okay, so it came back. All right, so that's the beauty of and you know, here's my search on the internet. I must have already closed it out, but anyway, I copied and pasted my issue and was able to get that resolved. So what we've got to do here for our properties, we've got to be careful of this. We need to make sure that we put in 1.7. And so again, you can just edit your link, drop this arrow down, and there it is, 1.7. And that should work. All right. So now here's our design window. And what we're looking at here is the particular, what I like to call form that we have. And what we could do is just click on, let's say, a button and drag it over, and we can add a button on our form. So you just click on the button, and you can see that it's pressed in right here, and I can just choose where I want to put this button. So maybe I want to put a button down here on the bottom, and right now it's called New Button. And I can click on that button if I don't want it there. I can delete it. Maybe I want to put it in the middle. And I can come over here to the properties, and I could change the text on the button. Right now it says New Button. And I could just simply click on that button within my... Now that's a little too big. I like how that's coming up big. Let's right click on our form, go to set layout. Let's do absolute layout. So that should allow me to just, wherever I put the button is where it should go. So there it is. Okay, so I got a button on there, and I can click on the button, and I can come over to properties, and I can change the text, or I can go back to my source code here. And this is all the code that was added with that one button. So I could put text in here for the new button, and when I go back to my design, it updated it. So we could run this code and click me. I could put a text field in right here, and maybe I want to put enter a number. It's just like user input. I want to make it a little bit bigger, and then you can type in user input there. Okay, we can go into the source code, and there's our code for the text field. So you could dream up an application here and do it all through design, and then have events that you program so that you can actually get the click to work. Because right now we test it and there is no click, but you have all these different tools here that you can use. And again, I'm not an expert in GUIs, but we can go out online here. We could search for window builder tutorials, and it will have all these step-by-step videos that you could take a look at in how to build software in window builder. Builder card game. You can make a card game in window builder. So here's a tutorial for that as well. So you could find something that you could maybe do with window builder. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. You could spend hours going out and researching and learning and figuring out graphics. Totally different section of Eclipse than what we've done and what a lot of people think of when they're in Eclipse. But yes, there is a graphical component to it, and it's a little bit tricky, but once you get it set up, good luck, and let me know. I can do my best to give you some advice on it.